Hello, students. As part of a co-curriculum course for third semester, Human Values and Environmental Studies, today I am going to present the topic of corporate social responsibility. I am Ms. Manu Chauhan, Assistant Professor in the Department of Psychology at PPNPG College. So today we are going to study the corporate social responsibility. In this topic, we are going to discuss the various aspects of corporate social responsibility, how this law has formed, does the key questions that we are going to discuss in today's class is that do companies have a social responsibility? What is the extent and type of that social responsibility? Different models of the corporate social responsibility, or popularly known as CSR, and some of the case studies from India as well as from the abroad. So, first thing, what is corporate social responsibility or CSR? So, CSR is a management concept where companies integrate social and environmental concern in their business operations and interact with their stakeholders. Here we have to differentiate between stakeholder and shareholders. Shareholders are those persons who have some ownership of the company or the corporate that we are talking about. Stakeholders are the person who are directly or indirectly influenced by the operation of that particular company. Like any other concept, CSR is also an evolving term. Earlier, it was termed just as an outer extracurricular activity other than the corporate economic, technical, and legal necessity. But now, the definition of CSR goes beyond this and is better described as a strong sense of social responsibility toward the public attached to it. As per World Business Council, this continuing commitment by business to behave ethically and contribute to economic development while improving the quality of life of the workforce and their family, as well as of the local community and society at large, is considered as CSR. In India, in 2013, an amendment was made in the Companies Act Section 135, making it compulsory to spend at least 2% of the average net profit for CSR during 3 immediate prior or following fiscal year at any time for corporate. CSR is a system for corporates that ensure the responsibility of business towards society. It covers the financial, legal, and unrestricted exceptions that the public has of a corporate. It is a wholesome business concept to have sustainable growth by taking care of all the stakeholders by providing financial, communal, and environmental benefits. It is a practice to take social responsibility as a corporate and act on it through various CSR initiatives. CSR aims to positively impact various social issues related to customers, internal public, society, and anyone in public scope who may be considered stakeholders. It is a way of giving back to society in which the corporate operate and earn from. Now let us see some arguments in favor of CSR. CSR explains a commitment of the corporate or the company to society's value and a way to contribute to society's social, environmental, and economic goals through action. Secondary, CSR protects society from the negative impacts of companies' operation, products, and services. Third, CSR demonstrate that the company can make more money by doing the right thing. Now, let us discuss some of the models given by different researchers of the CSR. In 1991, Carroll first presented his CSR model, which is as a pyramid. It was suggested that although the components are not exclusive, it helps the manager and the corporates to see that the different types of obligation that are in a constant tension with each other. The Carroll's model of CSR includes economic, legal, ethical, and discretionary expectation that society has of organization at any given point of time. Carroll provides a very comprehensive model of CSR, and this model is very helpful in understanding the various dimensions and the interaction of those dimensions and how the concept of CSR evolves. So let us have a closer look. This is the pyramid model of corporate social responsibility as given by C. Carroll. So it has on the base of the pyramid there is economic responsibility. Obviously, every corporate has the first responsibility toward itself to be profitable. If a is corporation is not profitable, it will not survive. Second responsibility is legal responsibility. That is, in order to make profit, one has to work according to the laws of the land. One should not break law or involve in illegal activities like smuggling or anything. Third is ethical responsibility, doing what is right. And in order to make profits, even within the law, the corporation should not be harming the other person or the environment or the wildlife or the nature, anything. And at the top of the pyramid is discretionary responsibility, that is giving back to the society from where the corporation is earning its profit. So now let us understand these four components even in some more greater details. So the in the left hand side we are discussing the responsibility, the economic responsibility of the corporation, the legal responsibility, the ethical responsibility, or the discretionary or the philanthropic responsibility. In each of these, the societal expectation is required. Like in economic active responsibility, the examples are like be profitable, maximize sale, maximize cost, legal obey laws and regulations, discretionary be a good corporate citizen. So this is an overview of Carroll's four-part definition. The next model is environmental integrity and community health model. This model was developed by Redman, and many corporate in United States of America has adopted this model. In this model, corporate contribute towards environmental integrity and human health and expect that this contribution will expand the opportunities available to the person, as they view that a healthy person can work more and earn more. So CSR is beneficial from the corporate sector, and this in this particular model, what they do is that they invest in the human resource, the health, the education, and the other facilities and other aspects of the workforce. And they believe that if the workforce is in a better health and better mindset, then they will be more productive for them. The next model is corporate citizenship model. According to this model, in order to become a corporate citizen, a corporate firm has to satisfy four conditions. First, consistently satisfactory, the performance, sustainable economic performance, third, ethical actions, and fourth, the behavior of the corporates. A particular firm's commitment to corporate citizenship required the fulfillment of certain social responsibility based on the above four factors. So these are the few models of corporate social responsibility. So here, if we look at this picture, here all of the models are integrated into one. So the dimension from left to right, in the extreme right is the balanced profits and social objectives. And in the extreme left are the maximize firm's profit to the exclusion of all things. In the beginning, the first or the sole purpose, if the sole purpose of an any corporation is to maximize firm's profit, then it will not last long. So what they have to do, they have to balance their profit and social obligations. They also have to care about the society in which they are responding. So understanding the CSR equation, so every corporation has economic responsibility, that is towards himself to make the corporation profitable, legal responsibilities to make the corporate successful, profitable within the legal limits, ethical responsibility, make the corporate profitable within the legal limits and by right means, doing not doing anything wrong, and at the same time the philanthropic responsibility, that is by making the corporate profitable within the limits of the laws and within and doing the right thing, and also at the same time giving back to the society from which everything is taken. So these are the four components: economic responsibilities, that is generating profitability, establishing and maintaining stronger competitive position, high efficiency level functioning of a firm, legal responsibilities to follow the law of the land, like not by paying proper tax, income tax and corporate tax, and obeying the environmental laws, ethical responsibilities, meeting the ethical standards of the domain, as well as like the issues of gender equality and marginalized society. These are the ethical responsibilities. And then come the discretionary responsibilities, those responsibilities in which societies does not have a clear message to present to business as to what their courses of action should be. Here the managers have to take the right judgment. One more thing, if a company is not involved in CSR, it is not unlawful or unethical, but it is expected out of them to involve in CSR. Now let us have a view on the evolution of CSR in India. We can The evolution of corporate social responsibility concept has been divided into four phases. The first phase started in pre-independence from 1815 to 1940. This is driven by the basic idea of noble deeds of philanthropic and charity. The big businessman and business house normally does the concept of dan and punya. This is based. The first phase is based basically on those concepts. The second phase from 1914 to 1960 is influenced by the philosophy of Mahatma Gandhi's and the theory of and his theory of trusteeship. Industrialists are pressurized to dedicate some funds for the betterment of the society. The third phase is the post-independence phase from 1960s to 1980. CSR is influenced by the emergence of public sector undertaking to ensure proper distribution of wealth. During this phase, a lot of the large companies which are governed by the government, they were set up like from the all the Navratna and the Maharatna companies, and they are not only making a new India but also doing the corporate social responsibility by distributing the wealth and doing the social action. And the fourth phase come from 1980s until present, Here, Indian companies integrate CSR into a sustainable business strategy. And now, what started as a charity is now understood as a responsibility. So, in the evolution of CSR, we see that the idea of CSR, which started as a charity, the concept of charity has now evolved as a responsibility, that this is the dharma, now not dana punya, but as a dharma. In this context, the company's bill was amended in 2013, and the section 135, here are the some technical aspects, that every company which has either the net worth of 500 crore or more, or a turnover of 1000 crore or more, or net profit of 5 crore or more. These are the three conditions. If any one condition is met, it's not like all three conditions have to be met. If any one condition is met during any financial year, so if the one this condition is met, then the company has to compulsory spend at least 2% of their net profit on CSR. And for doing so, the company has to constitute a corporate social responsibility committee, and which has at least three or more directors, and out of which one director is independent, not the employee of the company. Now, where this 2% of the profit has to be spent, in according to the company's bill, the permissible CSR activities were given in Schedule 7, and the following areas cover those, like eradicating extreme hunger and poverty, promotion of education, promoting gender inequality, promoting gender equality and empowering women, reducing child mortality and improving maternal health, combating HIV, AIDS, malaria, TB, and other diseases, ensuring environmental sustainability, employment enhancing vocational skills, social business prospects, contribution to the Prime Minister's National Relief Fund or any other fund set up by central government, and any such other matter as may be described. So these are the main areas where the companies can spend their 2%, which was earmarked for the CSR. How companies have to do this? The first, company has to determine the corpus earmarked for the CSR. As we have discussed earlier, 2% of the profit made in the whole last financial year, that much amount has to be earmarked and put up in a separate account. Then the company has to identify the areas and the specific activities for CSR. It could be in the education or healthcare or small business or innovation or whatever, environmental sustainability, employment generation, whatever the area the company decides. Then the company has to identify agencies, because this has to be outsourced. So the company has to identify the agencies or the NGOs or anyone who is working in those areas, as and also registered in the with the government. Then they make a baseline survey. Okay, this is what they are the particular person is doing. Suppose there is an agency who's doing who is running schools for slum dwellers. So they see, okay, this is the company, this is doing this and this agency is doing this and this. So we are funding the books, or we are funding the stationery, or we are funding the midday meal for that school. And then also monitoring and impact analysis of their activities. This is an important aspect, so that the money that they are spending should be optimally utilized. So it's like 9 years from 2013, the CSR is has legal status in India. So in the last 9 years, we have seen a lot of positive outcomes that have arisen out of the adoption of CSR. And It includes the improved financial performance of the company, lowering the corporate operation cost, enhancing of the brand image and reputation, increased sales and customer loyalty, greater productivity and quality, more ability to attract and retain employees, reduced regulatory oversight, more and more access to capital, workforce diversity, product safety, and decreased liabilities. So, this is the corporate social responsibility is not only beneficial for the society, but it is also benefit. Even these benefits come back to the corporate or the company back again in these form either in the both direct as well as indirect ways. So now we will move on to the next topic, which is given in our syllabus, that is corporate governance. What is corporate governance? As the term suggests, corporate governance is a way a corporate is governed. Governance itself implies that it is an act of managing a corporate. It is a vital technique to balance the interest of the stakeholders such as consumers, management, employees, financial institutions, government, and last but not the least, the general public. Through corporate governance, corporates try to reach an equilibrium point of economic and social benefit. It is a system of law and effective tactics by which corporates are directed and organized. Corporate governance is the set of guidelines, techniques, and directions governing the relationship among the board of directors, key stakeholders, shareholders, and managers in a corporate setup. It is well defined by the laws, the charter, the company's bylaws, and prescribed policies. Corporate governance makes the corporate more accountable to its key stakeholders. It plays an essential role in protecting the right of stakeholders like staff, stockholders, community, consumer, etc., who can be affected by the company's work but do not play an active part in decision making activities daily. The principles of corporate governance. Corporate governance is basically based on many principles. So, based on the idea of fulfilling the finding the responsibilities towards the company and the society and finding a finer balance between these two responsibilities is what is known as corporate governance, and this is based on few principles like structure. So this means that the corporate should have a very clear cut structure, hierarchy, hierarchy of command, and so a proper structure should be there in every company. The next point is board and committees. So here the board and committees means that the company is governed by a board of most of the companies are governed by board of directors. So the board of directors are free. They must not be the relatives of the main person or the owner, and there must be independent directors as well as directors from the diverse section of the societies like women. So and these board of director will forms the required committees like the committee against the sexual harassment and committee for environmental protection. So all such committees must be formed. Next is appointment of the main person in the company and the board of directors should be based on the clear cut guidelines and principles. It should not be quid pro quo. Second, next point is responsibility, pay, and performance. The responsibility of all the office holders will be well versed, and there it is clear cut regarding their pay, their what is expected out of them, their role, and how their performance is evaluated. Next is risk management. The company should be managing the risk in an efficient way. It should not be taking too much risk so as to put the interest of the stakeholders on the line. It should be doing its work honestly, proper and yearly auditing must be done, and it should take the voices of stakeholder into consideration through annual general meetings. So these are the broad principles of corporate governance which we have discussed now. So what are the benefits arising out of these principles when we follow these principles? So the benefit of corporate governance. Good corporate governance can ensure wholesome corporate success with financial progress. Corporate governance help maintain the investors' confidence in the corporate business model, lending more capital for future investment, and it decreases the capital cost. Corporate governance also works as a motivational factor for managers and employers to achieve better results for all the stakeholders. It increases the value of the business in the share market. Corporate governance help in reducing unethical practices, risk, and any misconduct. Intense corporate governance bring brand recognition to the business. Last but not the least, it ensures that the business is fair in managing every stakeholder's interest. Now we will see what is the relation between corporate social responsibility and corporate governance. Both of these are aimed at public and institutional aspect of the business. They inspire to provide a responsible, honest, and ethically sound environment for everyone involved. They seem different on many levels in terms of law and its practice, but both the terms are very clear, closely related. Sorry. We understood that how vital corporate governance is for the smooth and corruption-free functioning of the corporate firm. Corporate governance is more about better bottom line and smooth functioning, whereas corporate social responsibility gets its fund from profit from shareholders' pocket and goes to stakeholders. We also saw that CSR activities are a significant step toward dynamic governance. To sum it up, we can say that the corporate that practice intense corporate governance are also who are taking care of their social and environmental responsibility seriously through CSR. Now, CSR and the sustainable examples, the case studies. So, there are three case studies which are explicitly mentioned in the syllabus are Tata Group, headed by Ratan Tata, Azim Premji, Wipro, and the Bill Gates, Microsoft. So we will see the Ratan Tata is the head of Tata Sons, one of the India's biggest corporate house and also the oldest corporate house. So Tata Group has many companies. So we will see how they are involved in this CSR. Even before the CSR is made legal, even before that, since independence, even in the pre-independent era, the Tata Group is involved in different forms in the social upliftment. The clear examples are like Tata Cancer Research Institute, Tata Institute of Fundamental Research. They have invested heavily in the social education and medical lines. So now we will see how the different group companies are performing in CSR. The most important company of the Tata Group right now, Tata Consultancy Services, popularly known as TCS. So it has started an adult literacy program, and which is started in May 2000 to address the problem of illiteracy, particularly computer illiteracy. The ALP believes illiteracy is a major social concern affecting the third of Indian population, comprising old and young adults. To accelerate the rate of learning, it uses TCS designed computer based functional learning method CBFL, an innovating teaching strategy that uses multimedia software to teach adults to read within about 40 learning hours. So in only 40 hours, an illiterate person can be changed into a literate one. The second one is another important Tata company, Tata Steel. It supports various social welfare organizations such as Tata Steel Rural Development Society, Tribal Cultural Society, Tata Steel Foundation for Family Initiatives, the National Association for the Blind, Sishu Niketan School of Hope, Center for Hearing Impaired Children, Red Cross Society, East Singapore. The third one is Tata Chemical Limited, and Tata Chemicals is making an effort for sustainability. Sustainability for the group means honesty and transparency towards stakeholders, environmental protection, generating economic value, as well as promoting human rights and creating social capital. Tata Chemicals supports the UN Global Compact and is committed to reporting its sustainability performance in according to GRI guidelines. The main operatives for environmental protection include optimal use of resources, finding and or generating alternative source of fuel and raw material, and maximize reuse and recycling. Next is Tata Tea. Tata Tea is has been working hard since 1980s to fulfill the need for especially abled people. The focus of Tata Tea is on especially able people. It has set up the Srishti Welfare Center at Munna Arkelra. Its various programs provide education, training, and rehabilitation of children and young adults with special needs. This Srishti school has four projects: the Dare School, the Dare Strawberry Preserve Unit, Athulya, and Aranya. Tata Tea welfare officers help identify and encourage relatives or children of employees who are handicapped to join the welfare center for school education. The DARE provides students with training in basic academic self-help skills and skills like gardening, cooking, weaving. The DARE Strawberry trains youngsters to make natural strawberry preserve. The trainees are paid for their work. They receive social cover, free medical aid, and other benefits. Athulya has two units, a vocational training center and a handmade paper making unit which trains physically challenged person in the art of making recycled paper. Aran is a project to nurture the lives of disabled and also to revive the ancient art of natural dye. So these are some of the CSR initiative taken by the Tata Group. Next, we will discuss the CSR initiative by Azim Premji. Azim Premji is the owner of chairperson of Wipro Group and is one of the leading Indian philanthropists. Wipro, the company which is leading its CSR via Azim Premji Foundation, with more than 1,700 employees, the Azim Premji Foundation is active in more than 48 districts of 6 states and one union territory. These states include Karnataka, Rajasthan, Uttarakhand, Chhattisgarh, Madhya Pradesh, Telangana, and Pondicherry. The Azim Premji Foundation working towards the vision of facilitating a just, equitable, humane, and sustainable society. The main thrust of the company is to contribute to create a deep, at scale, and institutionalized impact of the quality of education in India, as well as other important aspects of equity and human well-being. Field institutes and Azim Premji University are the institutional anchors of the company's work in education. The field institutions are vibrant, high-quality centers located in rural areas and state capitals of selected Indian states. These institute plays a leading role in the institution-led approach of catalyzing social change and offer on-the-ground support in different aspects of school education. Azim Premji University is a philanthropic initiative that has the explicit social purpose. The company's CSR policies intends to contribute to social, economic, and environmental change in India with a significant lasting impact is effective from the financial year 21-22, and the different program and activities involved undertaken by the Azim Premji Foundation in the last 10 years are involves promoting education, including special education and employment, enhancing vocational skills, especially among children, women, elderly, and the differentially able, and livelihood enhancement projects. Engaging with community to promote healthcare, including preventive healthcare, eradicating hunger, poverty, malnutrition, making available safe drinking water, and promoting sanitation. It also involves in strengthening rural areas by improving accessibility, housing, drinking water, sanitation, power, and livelihood, thereby creating sustainable village. It also work on promoting gender equality, empowering women, setting up homes and hostels for women and orphans, setting up old age homes, daycare centers, and such other facilities for senior citizens, and measures for reducing inequality faced by socially and economically backward group. Another example we can take of Larsen and Turbo, the L&T company. This is the second largest employer in India after agriculture, employing around 32 million strong workforce, and it regulate and promote construction vocational training in India by establishing a construction skill training institute in Chennai. It imparts totally free of cost basic training in farm work, carpentry, masonry, plumbing, sanitary, scaffolding, electric wireman trades to wide spectrum of rural poor. CSTI has also set up a branch in Pavel, Mumbai, initially offering training in framework, carpentry, masonry. The Malpakkam and Panvel facilities together provide training to about 300 candidates annually who are inducted after a process of selection. The minimum qualification being 10th standard. Since the inception, these two units have produced over 22,000 skilled workmen in various trades. Another important company, ITC Limited, partnered the Indian farmers to close to a century. ITC is now engaged in elevating this partnership to a new paradigm by leveraging information technology through the trailblazing e-Chopar initiative. ITC is significantly widening its farmer participation to embrace a host of value-adding activities, like creating livelihood by helping poor tribals make their wasteland productive, investing in rainwater harvesting to bring much needed irrigation to parched dry land, empowering rural women by helping them evolve into entrepreneurs, and providing infrastructure support to make school exciting for village children. Through these rural partnership, ITC touches the life of nearly 3 million villagers across India. In the last, we will also take a brief note on the Microsoft founder Bill Gates. Bill Gates is currently the world third most richest person, but for over a decade he was the world's richest person. And from his wealth, he has donated 90% of his wealth and formed the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, which works in the third world country in the area of health, education, generating employment, and eradicating the disease which are now left in third world like malaria and TB. And he, in terms of total amount, he is the world's topmost philanthropist. So this is the topic we have discussed today, the corporate social responsibility. And now I also sharing a PDF which have details of all the topic in this way that we have discussed today. And if you want to have a more understanding of the topic, you can access that PDF.